Okay, I'm back. I had to start a new stream though. Can everyone hear me now? Should be able to. I'm gonna drink some coffee. I'll wait till everyone gets on here. Sorry about the new stream. There's nothing I could do about that. Works fine now, right? I should have done this in the first place. Can you guys hear that? It's like it sounds way better, right? China Mike, what's up? Okay, so once again, announcing the new ear training program that's out at beatoeartraining.com. Been 2 years in the making. So the way that the ear training course is arranged, I'm going to talk about some actual ear training right now, but it starts out very basically. It gets into intervals. It gets into triads, seventh chords, added note chords, modal chords. I mean, if you go on the website and you look at it, you can see the breakdown of all the modules. There's well over 100 modules in the first half of the course. So it's section 1 through 10 are available now. It's at a discounted price. If you buy it now, you get the full course when it comes out in, I don't know, I would say probably about 6 weeks or so. We're working on it presently in the second half of the course. There's some really hard things. We're going to add a leaderboard to it too. For those of you that are competitive, you're going to click something and you can be part of it. So it times your performances on it. So before every chapter is a video that talks about what you're about to do in the chapters. And those things are actually not in the course. So these are things to practice outside of the course. I'm going to show you, for example. I did an ear training video 3 years ago. I've not done an ear training video in 3 years, really, an actual ear training one like today. So if you take an interval of a fifth, like this, C and G, okay? And I say, da. That's what I call complete the chord, this complete the chord exercise. Da. So I made it a minor chord there. If I make it da, I made it a sus4 chord. If I want to make it a Lydian chord, I have to go da. If I want to, and usually what you do is you play the chord. These are things for you to do on your own in front of a piano or with a guitar. You play the interval, then you sing the note, da, and then you play it to check yourself, right? Da, right? That is a Phrygian triad, 1, flat 2, 5, okay? So, right, I've done all the intervals in there. Da, 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 da. And that way I've gone through all the different triads that you can have within a perfect fifth. Another thing that you can do is take the same idea, and I'm not going to run through all of them for you, but one of the exercises is to take a note, meaning the middle note, and sing da. I just sang a half step above. So this is how you practice intervals. You need to practice intervals, a half step above, a half step below, a whole step above, a whole step below. Da. So I'm playing note C. I'm gonna sing D flat, B. Okay, and you try and sing them really accurately and check it. Okay. Da. There we go. And you go through all the intervals from the half step to the whole step, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, augmented fourth, and so on and so forth, all the way through the octave. The most difficult thing for people to do is to Aaron's like, get your internet fixed in Tuscaloosa. You know, when I got here, the internet, the last 50 miles, it just wouldn't connect to the internet. My GPS in my car or on my phone would not work. Anyways, one of the things about working on intervals, now intervals are the building blocks of everything. And the hardest thing to do, I think, for people is to practice intervals descending. Ascending intervals are far easier than descending intervals. And I think that most people practice hearing them, work on them more ascending, and there's not enough of a focus. That's why you need to drill the descending intervals just as much as the ascending, maybe even more, to be honest with you. So that's one of the things. These are all done, they're all randomized on here. They're done in every key. Every exercise in the new ear training method is done in every single key. Okay, it's random keys. And there's some hard things in it. The beginning part is very simple. A child can do this. Aaron and I, when we were working on it, Aaron and I developed it together. When we worked on it, we would bring my daughter Layla down to see if it was, if a 6-year-old, I'm not talking about if she was able to, if it just made sense, just to give her a basic explanation and see if she could intuitively figure out how to work the modules. And that's kind of how we developed them. If a 6-year-old can figure them out, then we figured anybody could figure them out. Now, I know some of you might get stumped at this, but the rhythm, there's a couple of new modules that we have that use, that are really a new approach to ear training. So it's in the scale module. The first half goes up, the first 10 goes all the way up through modal voicings. That's chapter 10. And, you know, it gets progressively more difficult, but this is an early access, there's an early access discount price to this right now. And I just said earlier, I don't know if you guys heard this or not, is that we're going to have a leaderboard. Aaron's working on it right now. So you're going to have to opt into it if you want to share your performances, but we're going to track who are the fastest people at these things. It's kind of gamify it, and you'll have a leaderboard, and you can see, I don't know, Aaron, how many people are we going to have on the leaderboard for each section? Is it going to be 10, 20? What? There will be some fast people. Honestly, I got this idea from Dylan does this thing called Type Racer. Maybe top 20? Okay. So Dylan and his friends do this thing called Type Racer. Type Racer is a typing program where you race each other, which I think is a great thing because you learn how to type and it keeps the speed. Now, some of these, I mean, Dylan can type about 90 words per minute. There's kids that can type 100, I mean, I don't know if they're kids, they're probably adults that type 175 words per minute. It's unbelievable. So we'll see how fast people can do these ear training exercises. This is, it will go as fast as you can answer. It'll keep shooting them at you. There are 2 modes to the course. There's practice mode, and then there is, there's test mode. I would suggest stay on practice mode for a while till you get really good and you're ready to go into test mode. And then your test mode is going to keep track of your personal best. You have to get 80% to pass, but you can jump around to any section. You don't have to. There's nothing to unlock. There's no extra cost to anything to unlock it like that. I'll be curious to see, practice mode, Aaron says, plays unlimited randomized examples. I'll be curious to see how fast people can do these things. It's going to be really interesting. It's a web-based program. It's not an app because it's keeping track of all your stats, and you can do it from you can do it from your phone. You can do it from your, I think, is the phone, can you do it from the phone right now, Aaron? I know you can do it from some phones. I've done it from mine. So there's a lot of ear training apps out there. How's mine different? Well, mine tests for completely different things. Mine tests things against other things where you actually have to pick between different things. For example, one of the modules has one of the really hard ones will go between a minor major 7 chord, augmented major 7, and a diminished major 7th chord. Okay? So, minor major 7, augmented, diminished. If you can get these and you're fast at these, you have a great ear. But these things are really challenging. And like I said, there are hundreds of modules. Aaron is on here. He can answer any questions, but like I say to people, res ipsa loquitur. You know that? The thing speaks for itself. That's the Latin. You guys know what you've seen it in action. You've seen what I've done with my kids, and these are the techniques that I've used. And I was just talking about this in arranging class. I was talking about cells that I call, like for example, triadic cells. And if you take a voicing like this, if I take this C Lydian voicing, so C, F sharp, G, and I put this note under it, what note is that, right? Well, that note is an E, and that note gives you an E Aeolian sound, okay? So this sound, this C Lydian gives me the flat 6, the 9, and the flat 3rd. Okay, if I play a C sus2, it also gives me an Aeolian sound, but a different one. So this is C sus2 over E. Okay, this would be C sus4 over E. If I put that triad and I put this triad, let's see, I'll do a simple one here. Let's say I do this, a chord like this. This is 2 triads that come from one key. They're all the white keys, but this is an F Lydian triad over an E sus4 triad. And if I put da under it, that gives me an F Lydian sound. So I really have, I would say, oh, that's F Lydian over E sus4 over F. This is exactly how I taught Dylan how to hear these things. I taught him how to analyze these sounds. If he should instantly listen for anything that is based on a triad. And when he was 4 years old and 5 years old, I taught him by memorization what the triads were, what the notes were of the triads. C, E, G for C major, C, F, G for C sus4, C, F sharp, G for C Lydian, C, D flat, G for C Phrygian, C, D, G for C sus2. So once Dylan knew all those different triads and I would play them together, whether it was chords like this, he would say, let's see, that's C augmented over D flat augmented. And he would be able to know what those were. Now, when we get into the polychord section on the second half of this, which is chapter 19, it will show you how to hear polychords like that. And we will get into clusters and things like that. Somebody had to mute because Holdsworth's playing in the other window. That's pretty funny. That's good. I like that. So if you can learn to hear in these small units, the triads, and then you start adding seventh chords on them, adding seventh. So if I play a C sus4 and I add a major 7 on it, you notice I always sing the notes before I play them. If I put a flat 7 on it, okay, that would be a C major 7 sus4. So here's your major 7, and there's your sus4. If I put bum, all right? If I put these intervals underneath it, that would give me this spread triad of A minor, and then the upper parts of this are going to give me the notes of A aeolian, okay? It's A minor. So this would be a flat 6 with a 9th on top, okay? So this 7th chord right there is the top part of the chord. If you can hear that, da, 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 dun, dun, then you can hear the entire chord. Bum, bum, do, 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 ba, ba, do, 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 da. Somebody just asked, Dylan was born, okay, so Dylan had perfect pitch, or has perfect pitch. But perfect pitch is only good if you hear, it's only good for hearing individual notes, okay? You have to learn how to hear things as a chord, like as a full sonority. People with perfect pitch, most people cannot hear relatively, meaning that they cannot hear notes as a constant structure. The constant structure would be a triad. I'm playing C, E, G, but really you should be able to hear this just as a major chord. This is hearing relatively. So Dylan can hear, uses relative pitch and perfect pitch together. But if you work on your relative pitch fast enough, you can become like somebody with perfect pitch as long as you have the reference tone. And the people that have perfect pitch and relative pitch, people like Iden or Dylan, those are the people that have the best ears. People that hit their 50s eventually lose their perfect pitch. Everybody eventually loses it eventually. If you lose it and you don't have good relative pitch, you can't play very well anymore, most people. That's why Gary Burton talked with me about that when I interviewed. He said that when he lost his perfect pitch, he couldn't really play anymore because he didn't know. It affected his musical memory, everything. So now some of you are saying, I hear 54 in there, that, I can see some of you have perfect pitch in their 50s. You'll notice that it start being inaccurate, being a half step off. That's very common. And usually by 60, it's gone completely. So I don't have perfect pitch, but I've got incredibly good tonal memory. And I noticed that what I thought were notes that I could nail, I started being a half step off. I'd always be a half step. I'd think that the pitch I heard in my head was always a half step lower than what I thought it was. There's Mark says he's 57, he's nearing that. Yes, so this is very common. Everyone goes through this. Not everyone, but most people go through it. Most people lose their perfect pitch. There's a great video on YouTube by Abby Simon, Abbey Simon. And do Abby Simon perfect pitch and watch this. He was a professor at Curtis, and he talked about Richter, the pianist, about him losing his perfect pitch. He came out for one concert one time, and he played this Beethoven. He was expecting to hear it in this particular key, and it was a half step off, and it freaked him out. It's almost impossible for people to play unless they really develop their sense of relative pitch. This is why this is important for people even with perfect pitch. So that's my spiel on the ear training program and on ear training. So every chapter has there are exercises throughout the ear training program that are to be done at the piano on your own or at your guitar or on any instrument. You have to have reference tones though to be able to do them. Okay, like I did with fill in the triad. Da, and you sing the note that's not there. That's called predictive ear training. You have to predict what notes are there. Any questions you can, hey, Peter, how are you? Peter's 89. Peter, are you 89 now? You must have just turned 89. Happy birthday, by the way. Peter Smart, everybody. Hey, Deb. And all these concepts are things that you guys have heard here on this channel, and those of you that have the Beato book, all these concepts are in the Beato book. So I've been teaching ear training like this since the 80s. I have all these ideas, Lydian triads, chordal voicings, all this kind of stuff. This is all in there, how to name these chords. And that's why Dylan can name them, because I taught him the theory, and I used to make him write a spreadsheet out. All right, Dylan, write out all the major, minor, diminished, and augmented chords. He'd make a list. This is all memorization. So you go C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, F. Then you just write across. C major, C, E, G, C minor, C, E flat, G, C diminished, C, E flat, G flat, C augmented, C, E, G sharp. And you just fill them in all the way down. And then I go, okay, let's do the suspendeds and the Lydians and the Phrygians. So you go C sus4, C sus2, C Phrygian, C Lydian. Okay? Was this forced education or voluntary with Dylan? You don't volunteer. What, do you let your kids do whatever they want? Oh, I want to go out and play in the traffic. Is this forced education? All education is for, do you think kids want to go to school? You don't have kids, obviously. Forced education. Do you think I ask my kids if they want to go to school every day? My God. Who is that guy? I haven't done a band hammer in 6 months easily. Here we go. I'm going to snap off here. Okay, snap off is gone. Is this voluntary? What, do you let your kids do whatever they want? Man, what's wrong with people? Where's the parents on here? This is voluntary education. Yeah, my kids want to go to school. Oh, Dad, I can't wait to go to school today. If you ever have a kid say that, something's not quite right. There you go. Tom, there you go, Tom, right? This is voluntary. The 7th of December, Peter's birthday. Well, Peter, happy birthday early. Great to see you. Okay, so that's all for today. I have to go teach a class. I'm actually I think I'm teaching a class in this classroom. No, I'm doing it upstairs. They got some great classrooms here in this music building at the University of Alabama. They have some massively big buildings on this campus. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know if any of you have ever been here. I've been to Tuscaloosa, but it was years and years ago. Who said that they have 3 kids? You are right, Jose. Exactly. My kids, oh my God, they don't want to do anything. They want to play video games. That's it. Okay, so early access ear training program. It's available at beatoeartraining.com. You guys are the best. I got a new video coming out in a couple days. And check out the video I did with Keith from 5 Watt World and Dave Honorato. It's a great video that we did on whether you're a snob or not. Most people that watch this channel are snobs. I'm asking the students if they knew Dance Monkey, and I was listing some of the top songs on the charts now, and like nobody knows them. It's pretty hilarious. That's good. They're in a music school. They shouldn't know that. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks.